Now, Fresh Girls Cup! Let's start!
Hello honeys, I've collected every single performance in the original Aikatsu anime, and I put them all together for you. Enjoy! 139, Prism Spiral by Ichigo and Ron. Episode 5's Prism Spiral is at the bottom of my list for its choreography and animation. It has some of the most bizarre movements in the franchise and barely reads as dance to me. It's not unwatchable and the song is fun, but this is a low point for the series as a whole. 138, We Wish You a Merry Christmas by Ichigo, Aoi, Ron, Seira, Ki, and Sora. Episode 62's We Wish You a Merry Christmas has always been extremely cringy. I talked about it in my choreo ranking, but I find the combination of this awkward hip-hop style and the two trios marching toward each other to be strange. And they don't even get nice outfits for it. 137, We Wish You a Merry Christmas Aikatsu version by Ichigo, Aoi, Ron, and Otome. Ironically, the episode 12 version of We Wish You a Merry Christmas is less painful to watch. Maybe because it's just one group of characters walking together, maybe because the jankier animation makes the weird choreo more forgivable. The outfits are more interesting at least. 136, Queen of Roses by Sumire. Episode 176's Queen of Roses is only down here for story reasons. It's a very nice sequence and a huge quality jump forward at this point in our rankings. But as I explain more in my Sumire deep dive, this performance is one of the worst decisions I think the writers made. The proper version is up way higher for me. 135, Prism Spiral by Aoi and Ki. Despite updating the animation, episode 56's Prism Spiral still feels extremely awkward to me. They also chose to muffle the audio for a more atmospheric effect, but it ends up emphasizing that the characters aren't singing, which I didn't realize bothered me before, but now I can't unsee it in the early runway stages. I am happy to see Ki, but that's about it. 134, Growing for a Dream by Ichigo, Aoi, Ron, and Otome. That non-singing criticism also hits episode 18's Growing for a Dream. At first I thought it was a mistake since the energy of the song is so intense. It is fun that this is the only performance with good chords, but I want them to sing. I don't care about staying accurate to the game logic. 133, Ponytail After School by Soleil. I don't know why, but episode 24's Ponytail After School has a completely different animation style than the rest of season 1. It's weirdly smooth, plus the concept is a lot more whimsical than Soleil's usual style. And they're not lip syncing, so the overall impact is kind of uncanny, not to mention the fact that this is the cold open for the whole episode. 132, Shining Sky on the G-String by Ichigo, Aoi, Ron, and Mizaki. The next two are episode 27's 7-person and episode 28's 4-person Shining Sky on the G-String versions. The song and concept are both very pretty, but they're a little boring on the performance front. They don't even do full appeal since there are so many people. I'm glad we got Yurika's school dress from it though. 131, Hey Little Girl by Akari and Sumire. I gave episode 139 and 143's Hey Little Girl a lot of credit for being so polished. I even praised its choreo a lot in my choreo video. But the song is not for me. I find the lyrics very cringy and the choreo is not charming enough to overcome them. If I had to pick a highlight, it'd be Akari's outfit. 130, Adult Mode by Mikuru. I have a similar reason for putting episode 84's and 169's Adult Mode this low. This time the lyrics don't sound cringy. As an adult, it's just uncomfortable to hear a teenager sing about how secretly mature they are. Mikuru's dress has grown on me over time though, so if anyone is disappointed in me for disliking it, know that I've changed. 129, Tutu Ballerina by Sumire and Dancing Diva. All of the Tutu Ballerina versions are grouped together for me, with the episode 131 and 138 duo versions at the top, and episode 130's solo version at the bottom. I love the song, I love Dancing Diva, I love their unit chords, but neither of them have a dance style I enjoy, and combining them is kind of a nightmare. The atmosphere is wonderful, I just want them to be animated in a more appealing way. 128, Prism Spiral by Aoi. The Prism Spiral solo version in episode 7 works way better than either of the duo versions we've seen. It's still a little goofy, but I'm genuinely impressed by how well the dress matches the stage. Although I would still like there to be singing here. 127, Little Beat, Little Wing by Luminous. Episode 147 and 151's Little Beat, Little Wing has a lot of technical strengths. The tone of the song is a little bit too soft for my taste, but that doesn't make it bad. The overall concept and visuals are really cute, and I like how unique the setting is. I still feel bored when I watch it, unfortunately. 126, Original Star by Ichigo and Akari. Episode 77's original star cover is a little uncanny since Akari still has her Ichigo hairstyle. Between the exaggerated difference in their dance skills and the identical ribbons, it does force a lot of comparison between the characters that I don't think has turned out to be a good thing for the series. But it is a nice song and a cute sequence outside of that context. 125, Idol Activity by Ichigo and Akari. Get ready because we have a lot of idol activity coming up with episode 80s at the bottom. I like the Ichigo Akari duo appeal, that's cute, but there's nothing super exciting about this performance, especially since we've already seen them perform together at this point in the series. Maybe it's exciting if you like Akari's short hair the best. 124, Idol Activity by Ichigo. I put episode 1's Idol Activity version higher because it's the more iconic one out of the two. It's super crunchy, super simple, and doing the bare Aikatsu minimum, but that's still pretty good, and we should be grateful that episode 1 Ichigo walked so the rest of the Idol Activity covers could also walk and then jog and then run later. 123, Idol Activity by Ron and Hikari. Episode 8's Idol Activity version is the only Hikari performance we get, so that's cool. Say goodbye to her for the rest of the list. They have nice outfits that don't fit the tone of the song at all, and I never remember this performance, but it does have a lot of novelty for that cameo. 122, Idol Activity by Ichigo and Aoi. I like episode 2's Ichigo-Aoi Idol Activity duet better overall. Even though they're not performing together in this version, we get a weird split screen to show that they're competing instead. Also, people seem to forget that Ichigo falls down here and fails her first professional audition. 121, Idol Activity by Akari. Akari's episode 76 Idol Activity cover is objectively better than the Ichigo-Aoi one, both from a graphical perspective and the fact that she manages not to fall on her face on stage. Watching them one after the other makes it pretty clear why Ichigo was able to connect with her so quickly. 120, Idol Activity by Ichigo and Aoi. Episode 4's Idol Activity version is another Ichigo-Aoi duet, this time with them actually dancing together to show that they are no longer competitors. I still like their voices together, and I'm somehow not tired of the song yet, even though I've heard it at least 20 times for this ranking already. 119, Take Me Higher by Soleil. There's a weird exposure boost and grain effect over some shots in episode 35's Take Me Higher cover. I have no idea why they kept it in because it looks terrible. I love this song, but I kind of hate the choreo and 2 out of 3 of these outfits, which means it's only this high up because of how cool it is to see Soleil cover Tristar's debut song. 118, Let's Aikatsu by Madoka and Rin. Episode 127's Let's Aikatsu version is also up higher than it technically should be. They animated Rin to be so over the top here. It's to show a difference in their skills, but as an animator, I can tell that they just amplified a bunch of curves and called it a day. But I love Rin and Madoka, so I like seeing them together anyway. 117, Emerald Magic by Sumire. I hope everyone knows that I do love Sumire. Emerald Magic from episode 144 just continues a trend I don't really like from her. The darker tone is a little too creepy for my taste and lacks the kind of elegance that usually makes it more palatable. But it is one of Aikatsu's most atmospheric sequences, and creative experimentation should be encouraged, so I tried to give it a more fair placement. 116, Passion Flower by Juri. All Passion Flower versions are up next from episodes 110, 115, and 145. This is another atmospheric sequence. I've talked about the stage itself in my stage ranking, and in my choreo ranking I explain why I still think it ends up feeling a bit awkward. Plus, the dress is not one of my favorites. This is another case of technical strengths not really lining up with my personal taste, unfortunately. 115, My Showtime by Rin. All versions of My Showtime in episode 128, 145, and 175 have the same problem in a different style. The sequence is carried pretty hard by the visual effects for me. I don't find these songs super memorable, but it does successfully impress me at a few moments. I've even been desensitized to Rin's Rainbow Chain chord. 114, Hello Winter Love by Luminous. I have personal beef with the episode 114 version of Hello Winter Love. I've had this song on my Idol Christmas playlist for nearly a decade now, and I want to see more festive energy from it. Hinaki is on theme, albeit in a terrible outfit, but the rest of the visuals are not satisfying my holiday spirit. It could be so much cuter. 113, Love Game by Dancing Diva. Both the episode 158 and 164 Love Game versions are another miss in the Dancing Diva performance record for me. Again, I love them and I love this song, but the choreo gives me a lot of secondhand embarrassment. I don't understand how two appealing characters can have this little charisma. If the song was worse, I could not justify keeping them up here. 112, Good Morning My Dream by Hinaki. Episode 105 and 113's Good Morning My Dream cover feels very bouncy and has some of my favorite Hinaki vocals from the series. Still not my favorite chord, but it manages to hold my attention in a positive way. 111, Let's Aikatsu by Akari and Hinaki. Episode 104's Let's Aikatsu cover is higher despite having noticeably messier Hinaki vocals. I think I like this song better, and the visuals are a lot brighter and fresher. The extra accessories are cute too. 110, Trap of Love by Ichigo. I had episode 13's Trap of Love a bit higher at one point, but Ichigo looks so silly I had to bring her down here. I love the energy, I think a 6-year-old would eat this up, but the chord and animation are not exactly fitting the tone of the song. It's still very endearing to me. 109, Idol Activity by Ichigo. I really like episode 6's Idol Activity because of the pretty dress. That's mostly it. Sometimes the animation being extra crunchy just helps amplify how nostalgic it feels. 108, Adult Mode by Double M. I have the duo version of Adult Mode from episodes 93 and 173 up next. It does have a lot of charisma, and it's always nice to hear Mizuki sing. I do like these dresses a little more too. It's hard to ignore how pretty the whole sequence is. 107, Trap of Love by Ron. I had a hard time deciding if episode 57's Trap of Love cover should be lower. I do like the song a lot, and the stage is very appealing to me. The chord I'm kind of iffy on, and there's no lip sync, and the animation is a bit outdated, so maybe nostalgia is playing a role again here. 106, Aurora Princess by Maria. The episode 68 version of Aurora Princess is very soothing. I go back and forth on how much I like it depending on my mood. It's not quite impactful enough for me to put it any higher, but the stage, dress, and vocals are all right up my alley. 105, Idol Activity by Soleil. I can't really explain why all of the different Idol Activity versions get such different rankings. Sometimes it just comes down to outfits or memorability. Episode 29's version isn't even that memorable, but I do like watching it. 104, Idol Activity by Soleil. Episode 44's Idol Activity always tricks me into thinking it'll be Diamond Happy because of the unit outfits, but for what it is, I like the improved animation. I might be brainwashed by the song at this point, I'm not sure how it continues to grow on me. 103, Idol Activity by Ichigo and Mizuki. The episode 16 Idol Activity version is only higher because it's an Ichigo-Mizuki duet, which I am weak to. It does demonstrate why these series eventually abandoned the entire concept of multiple appeals since they're kind of spammed throughout this version, but it's always nice to see my ults together. 102, Hello New World by Skips. Both the episode 134 and 138 duo versions of Hello New World are on the weaker end for me. The song is cute, but I'm not really feeling the harmony in the vocals or visuals. It feels a little too bright, if that makes sense, and I've talked about the dresses several times already. I only noticed those things because it's so close to being a performance I really enjoy. 101, Calendar Girl by Soleil. The Calendar Girl choreo is extremely silly. I love the song, of course, but I'd be lying if I said I was able to take the actual performance that seriously. I do find it enjoyable, mostly because the outfits are so pretty, but it's definitely a children's recital kind of enjoyment. 100, Take Me Higher by Soleil. The last Take Me Higher version would be up here with episode 33's if it didn't have those weird exposure boost shots. The dresses are slightly better in this one, and it's still nice to see Soleil cover the TriStar song. We still have a ways to go before we see the stage at its full scale. 99. Tartatine by Sumire. I think I've been pretty generous to all 3 Tartatine versions from episodes 103, 108, and 117. The dresses are all top tier first of all. I'm not the biggest fan of the song, or the stage, or the choreo, but the dresses are so pretty that I'm usually distracted by them. I have to watch closely to feel bothered by the other stuff. 98. Miel Mier by Nina. Miel Mier is a sequence I feel like I've hyped up a lot on a technical level, but both of the episode 161 and 162 versions are kind of mid to me. The song isn't really my style, so even though there's a ton to appreciate visually, it's all limited by the song for me. 97. Calendar Girl by Soleil and Luminous. Calendar Girl is a great song, and the episode 178 cover with Soleil and Luminous is theoretically a nice full circle moment. I get distracted by how unusual it looks on this very industrial stage. Also, I forgot to include this one in my choreo ranking. Now you know that Calendar Girl would have been higher if I remembered that this version existed. We can regret that mistake together. 96. Idol Activity by Soleil. Episode 146's Idol Activity is this high because not only are the graphics even better than we've seen so far, it also adds the clapping sound effects I like so much. The appeal is also cool if you care about that stuff. 95. Pretty Pretty by Luminous. Both Pretty Pretty versions are next, and I prefer the outfits in 129 to the ones in episode 126. Not because they look better necessarily, but they do fit the eclectic casual setting a little more. This is the kind of song I mostly appreciate when my brain is fried and I need things to be simple and cheerful. 94. Happy Crescendo by Seira, Key, Sora, and Maria. All of the Happy Crescendo Dream Academy versions are next from episodes 72, 95, 148, and 172. I definitely got tired of it by the end of this ranking, but it's entertaining enough that I don't have too many nitpicks. The main one is just that I think it could be a little cuter. Seira's vocals stand out a lot in such a fluffy song. 93. Idol Activity Rock by Seira. Speaking of Seira, her Idol Activity Rock version cover in episode 51 is also missing the mark vocally for me. I do like the overall performance, I just wish she could have had a more fitting solo. They can add as much electric guitar and drums as they want, it's still just a little too cute for her. 92. Hello New World by Madoka. Madoka's solo versions of Hello New World from episodes 133, 145, and 175 aren't too much higher than the duo versions. Since the song is already on the edge of my personal taste, it takes the extra pretty dress and the dedicated focus on one of my favorite characters to maintain my immersion in the performance. 91. Move On Now by Mizuki. Letting episode 1 and 3's Move On Now up this high might seem like a joke to you, but for all of its flaws, I think nostalgia holds it up very well. I can't not be charmed by the extremely dramatic appeal, Ichigo's love-struck reactions in episode 1, and crunchy animation. It's the foundation of everything we love. 90. Aurora Princess by Ichigo and Maria. Episode 69's version of Aurora Princess has won me over a little more because it's a duet. And I do really like getting to see Ichigo in softer songs like this. I would have loved to see Sakura there instead, but it's hard for me to complain when I do like it so much as is. 89. Angel Snow by Otome. Episode 11's Angel Snow is mostly held up by how much I like this song. It does consistently bother me that they chose a summer stage for an explicitly winter-themed song, but the stage itself is still unique enough to be enjoyable. I don't know a ton of Aikatsu performances that use props this well either. 88. Take Me Higher by TriStar. Episode 38's Take Me Higher is the first full TriStar performance in the anime, but it's a little underwhelming because it's not on its proper stage. The celestial backdrop is pretty cool, don't get me wrong, but it's massively overshadowed by the versions we get later in the list. 87. Travel Ribbon by Luminous. I can see this one disappointing some people, but Starway to the Future's Travel Ribbon is not quite my style of song. Very similar to Little Beat Little Wing, although I clearly like this one a lot better. I do really like the outfits and the visuals are gorgeous overall, it's just the weakest of the Starway performances for me. 86, Starry Skyfloor by Ichigo and Akari. I have a very similar reason for Starway's Starry Skyfloor ranking. I don't think I like the song quite as much, it depends on my mood, but the visuals are undeniably beautiful. If I was more interested in Cosmos as a unit, I'm sure I would have been super excited to finally see them perform. 85, Queen of Roses by Sumire. I find myself more invested in the episode 166 version of Queen of Roses, the one without the failed appeal. This is definitely my favorite Sumire solo performance. It captures a much more elegant side of her than we've seen so far. I do think this should have been a runway stage, but it still works as is. 84, Poppin' Bubbles by Passion Jalapeno. The two versions of Poppin' Bubbles from episodes 120 and 132 are up next for me. The underwater themed dresses are my favorite over the unit dresses. It is a strange fit for the Valentine's context of the performance, but the gentle tone ends up fitting. I really like when the Akari generation gets extra creative with its stages. 83, Let's Aikatsu by Luminous. The Luminous Let's Aikatsu versions from episodes 153, 158, and 161 are a mixed bag for me. I really like the choreo, and I still like the song, but the outfits are some of my least favorites in the series. It has a great energy overall if I squint through the visuals. 82, Shining Sky on the G-String by Ichigo and Mizuki. Episode 28's version of Shining Sky on the G-String is totally different than the previous versions we've seen. First of all, they actually do real appeals, and also it's an Ichigo-Mizuki duet with beautiful dresses. And I do like the song, so the super simple choreo feels forgivable here. 81, Shining Line by Aikatsu 8. The Aikatsu 8 Shining Line versions from episodes 91 and 92 are surviving off of the song and unique member lineup. I've never liked these unit dresses very much, and the overall stage is pretty simple, but it does make me sentimental when I remember the story context around it, so that's where it's getting most of its points. 80, Doot Dua Do It by Akari. The episode 116 version of Doot Dua Do It is the weakest for me because it's been massively overshadowed by the other versions, which we'll talk about later. I'm not super excited about this song, but I do adore this dress and stage, so it's kind of a compromise to put it here. 79, Prism Spiral by Aoi. I thought about lowering episode 71's Prism Spiral several times, but every time I watch it I end up feeling really nostalgic for how far the show had come by this point. So yeah, it's still silly, but this non-runway version is a huge improvement from the last one we saw. Aoi genuinely looks adorable here. 78, Let's Aikatsu by Akari and Sumire. The episode 102 version of Let's Aikatsu is this high mostly for vocals, and a little bit of sentimentality since this is such an early version. I really like how Akari and Sumire sound in this version. It captures a really cute rookie vibe that they grow out of later. 77, Lucky Train by Nono and Nono and Lisa. Getting through all 6 versions of Lucky Train was a trial. Obviously I like it since it's gotten this far, but they absolutely should not have used it this much. My favorite is the episode 154 and 155 version where Nono and Lisa have unique outfits. Then it's 168 with Silky Love Devil, then 157 and 164 with Dolly Leopard, then last is Nono's solo in episode 175. I can't believe they never freed her from this Gyaru prison dimension. 76, Love Like Caramelized by Kokone and Amafu Nadeshiko. After much debate, I've grouped the solo and duo versions of Love Like Caramelized together. Episode 135 and 142 solo version are at the bottom because in my heart I really want Miyabi to be there, which makes the episode 136, 137, and 156 versions better for me. I love the song and the whole retro dessert concept. It's executed really well. 75, Lovely Party Collection by Luminous. Episode 156's Lovely Party Collection went all out with the Halloween decorations. I almost didn't recognize the stage. The lighting and extra effects are both really nice. I like how much detail was put into them. I think this song ranked pretty low for me at one point, but I do like it on its own. 74, Lovely Party Collection by Akari, Sumire, Hinaki, Juri, Madoka, and Rin. I have episode 152's 6-member version of Lovely Party Collection higher because it has some of my favorite choreo in the original series. It's also fun and detailed. I really appreciate how much attention they paid to each character. It's also nice to finally see the full Season 3 cast perform together. 73. Fashion Check by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, and Eureka. Fashion Check is an extremely similar song to Lovely Party Collection, so it was easy to place these two together. The episode 86 version is the weaker one for me, even though the animation is much better here. I do wish the stage itself was a little cuter. 72. Shining Line by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, and Akari. Episode 101's version of Shining Line feels a lot more thematically appropriate than the Aikatsu version, mostly because it's in a much more familiar setting. I find the story detail of Soleil surprising Akari on stage very cute. This was a great pick for an era-ending performance. 71. Magical Time by Kiwi. We'll see why the episode 66 version of Magical Time is down here later. I do love seeing Kiwi perform, just maybe not in this dress. I love her voice, I love how cute she is, and I'm glad the runway stages started letting the characters sing around this time. 70. Original Star by Soleil. The movie version of Original Star is mostly up here for novelty points. It's a hybrid 2D, 3D sequence, which is very cool. I did this in college. And it's the only time characters perform in their school uniforms. I do think they pulled it off well, but it's just a little uncanny since the two styles aren't perfectly matched. 69. Angel Snow by Ichigo and Otome. Episode 10's Angel Snow is still being carried by the song. I still have all the same complaints about the seasonal mismatch. Actually, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it might even be more accurate for you. It's mostly higher up because it's a duet, which is doubly cute. 68. Hello Winter Love by Ichigo, Mizuki Akari, Sumire, Hinagi, and Juri. The episode 165 version of Hello Winter Love is all the way up here because not only does it give every character an appropriately Christmassy outfit, it also randomly features my alts, Ichigo and Mizuki. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite overall Christmas performance. This is as good as it gets in Aikatsu. 67. Hello Hello by Hinagi. I have a lot of nice things to say about Hello Hello, and I even noticed that there's a different beach ball hitting intro in the episode 176 version, which makes it better than the episode 169 version, of course. The stage, choreo, and cinematography are the highlights here. I just wish they kept Hinaki's vocals closer to her original tone. 66. Idol Activity Rock by Ichigo. Episode 52's Idol Activity Rock version is adorable. The song is made to fit Ichigo, so I'm not surprised that she ends up sounding better than Seira in this context. It's also fun to see characters wearing different brands, and the little cat ear headband is perfect for her. 65. Ponytail After School by Otome, Sakura, and Kaide. The super smooth animation is a little more fitting in the episode 60 version of Ponytail After School. I still really wish that the characters were singing, but the choreo carries them well enough. This is the perfect concept for Powapuri, and I'm glad we got to see Kaide perform with them since she fits it well too. 64. Growing for a Dream by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, and Eureka. I put episode 23's Growing for a Dream up here because of the outfits. We should have had the characters match brands more often. Admittedly, none of the rest of the performance holds up, so it's a little embarrassing, but everyone looks great. 63. Signalized by Soleil. Logically, I want to put episode 40 Signalized lower than this, but the nostalgia has too strong of a hold on me. Signalized has this retro quality to it that makes it feel timeless, so even the weird animation can't distract me from the pretty dresses and the Y2K aesthetic of it all. 62. Take Me Higher by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, and Kaide. I also initially tried to put the episode 34 version of Take Me Higher lower, but it's the only 4-person cover and one of Kaide's only performances, and everyone's in their premium dresses. So even though it is a little awkward and the stage still isn't at its full scale, I do still enjoy it a lot. 61. Growing for a Dream by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, Eureka, and Sakura. There's a similar logic going for episode 30's Growing for a Dream. It's always nice to see such a big cast in all their fanciest dresses. The MC section is unique, although it's telling that they never did it again. And it's cool that this is the performance that Kaide watched in America. That makes it extra special. 60. Idol Activity Rock by Twings. Episode 53's duet version of Idol Activity Rock feels like the intended energy level for the song. I like the extra fancy mic throw detail, and the vocals are working a lot better for me. The harmonies feel much fuller. 59, Glass Doll by Ichigo and Eureka. Episode 19's Glass Doll is being hard carried by the music. As much as I love the message of this episode, Ichigo wearing Angel Sugar is massively throwing off the vibe. The animation is super crunchy, the visuals are off, but the song rules, especially in a duet. 58, Original Star by Soleil. I wouldn't call episode 54's Original Star the most memorable performance, but it is very fun to watch. Soleil just has great chemistry as a group, and they fit these super cute songs incredibly well. It's a classic Aikatsu style that always manages to appeal to me no matter what mood I'm in. 57, Blooming Blooming by Sakura. Blooming Blooming is a great song, and even though episode 124's version is the weakest one for me, I still really appreciate Sakura's cover. It's her only upbeat solo performance, and I love the outfit they chose for it. 56, Choo Choo Rainbow by Otome. Episode 83's Choo Choo Rainbow always gets me because it's so elaborate. They didn't have to give it such a huge stage or such creative choreo, but they did. I kind of wonder if they were trying to boost Otome's popularity a bit. It definitely worked for me. She's super underrated. 55, Calendar Girl by Soleil. Episode 50's Calendar Girl is all nostalgia and story sentimentality. This is Ichigo's farewell performance at the end of season 1, and combining the original ending song with the original school dresses drives home a sense of progression for the characters. They could have touched up the animation a bit though. 54, Let's Aikatsu by Ichigo. There's something I find really touching about episode 112's Let's Aikatsu. This is the point in season 3 where I always start to really miss Ichigo. So when she covers the New Generation's concept song, it always hits me pretty hard. It's more comforting than it was probably intended to be. 53, Original Star by Otome and Sakura. Beyond these strong story elements in episode 74's Original Star, my favorite detail is the students in the audience dancing along. It's the perfect addition for a graduation stage and shows how far Starlight has come from an intimidating, competitive environment to one where all the students are able to support each other. It's very sweet. 52, Happy Crescendo by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, and Otome. It's too bad that Happy Crescendo ended up being the default Dream Academy song because it feels like a much better fit for Starlight in episode 73. Otome and Ichigo suit the tone super well, so I end up feeling a lot more into the song this time around. And this is the only time they perform it. 51, Idol Activity by Ichigo and Mizuki. As we've discussed before, I'm very biased toward my favorite characters, so even though episode 17's Idol Activity isn't technically any more impressive than any other version, they do two appeals together, and it's very cute, and I love their matching outfits. 50, Trap of Love by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, and Otome. Trap of Love is just a really good song, so even though the episode 15 version is very crunchy in the animation department, I still really enjoy the overall energy. Ran is the only one fitting in visually, but all the fancy dresses and giant glitter effects are at least distracting in a good way. 49, Calendar Girl by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, and Eureka. We get more fancy dresses and a great song in episode 25's Calendar Girl. I had it higher at one point because I think it's still super fun, but it's not quite nostalgic enough for me to overlook that it's a pretty crunchy performance, at least in the animation. 48, Moonlight Destiny by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, Eureka, Sakura, and Kaide. I have very similar feelings about episode 49's Moonlight Destiny. Yes, it's kind of weird that no one's singing in the first round of the Starlight Queen Cup. No one is even attempting to match the concept of the song. But the song is beautiful, and the choreo is genuinely very pretty. 47, Let's Aikatsu by Ichigo, Mizuki, and Akari. The movie version of Let's Aikatsu is pretty iconic just for having the first 3 Aikatsu generations perform together. Not only do they all look amazing, but this song is still very fun and I'm not tired of it. It feels important since it's rare to have these characters all together. 46, Smiling Suncatcher by Double M. I had all 3 Smiling Suncatcher versions from episodes 78, 81, and 173 higher at first. It is a very fun sequence, and Double M has great chemistry here, but neither the song nor the vocals are hitting quite right for me. I still couldn't put it any lower since the summer atmosphere is impeccable. 45, Glass Doll by Eureka. Episode 20's Glass Doll is clearly the intended version. It has better cinematography, better effects, and an undeniably impressive energy for such an early performance. It does have its weak points, mostly in the animation, but this song will always hold up no matter how fancy Aikatsu's graphics get. 44. Friend by Twings. The super excited vibe of episode 98 and 100's version of Friend is what mostly carries it for me. It's not my favorite song or choreo, but the stage, dresses, and story of the performance do trick me into enjoying it. I would not have voted for them to win the Twinkle Star Cup though, unfortunately. 43. Friend by Madoka and Rin. Honestly, the youthful, simplistic tone of Friend is a better fit for episode 171's Madoka Rin cover. I'm glad they finally let them back on stage as a duo once again. I love them. And they actually dialed down Rin's animation to look normal, so that's great. 42. Good Morning My Dream by Soleil. Episode 125's Good Morning My Dream cover is another case where Soleil comes back midway through season 3, and I feel this really intense comfort in seeing them again. I love the polish they bring to this song, and the extra details in the lighting and choreo always make it feel really impactful to me. 41. Stranger Alien by Aoi. Episode 90's Stranger Alien is the only full-blown music video we get in the original series, and it's extremely memorable because of that. It's basically one big perfume reference, which I find very silly. It's not a cinematic masterpiece, but it does have such a fun energy to it that I couldn't put it any lower. 40. Move On Now by Soleil. The episode 9 version of Move On Now is another nostalgia pick for me. They're all in their pretty outfits, and I do genuinely love the changes they made to make this a group performance. The choreo, stage, visual effects, and music all hold up really well for me. 39. Happiness on the Same Earth by Sakura. We only see Happiness on the Same Earth in episode 26, and I really love the fairy ballet concept they went with for it. Even though there are a lot of technical flaws you could nitpick, my brain mostly just shuts up and enjoys the performance, which is one of the biggest compliments I think I could give. 38. Fashion Check by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, and Eureka. Episode 32's Fashion Check is the one where everyone wears Angel's Sugar, which I greatly enjoy. I already talked about how much I like the song and choreo, but I think the stage actually works fine in this version. It suits the slightly crunchier graphics and adds to the nostalgic feeling. 37. Kira Power by Twings. Episode 63 and 65's Kira Power has taken hits on every front from me over the years, but at the end of the day, I think this performance is very fun. Sure, it's not technically perfect in any way, but the vocals sell it really well for me. I like how joyful it feels. 36. Eternally Flickering Flame by Akari. Episode 106's Eternally Flickering Flame may be the weaker version for me, but I wouldn't blame that on Akari. This version has some great Halloween decorations and an orange sky to make it unique. I really appreciate that Akari is able to rise to the challenge of the song. 35. Dua Dua by Akari and Sumire. The swan dress duet in episode 111's Dua Dua is so iconic to me. I can't unsee them being based on Anna and Elsa's color palettes from Frozen. I'll talk more about the choreo and visuals a little later, but I like pretty much everything except for maybe the song. I might be a little tired of it. 34. Magical Time by Seira and Key. Episode 58's Magical Time is the reason I had to put Key's solo version lower. It's so cute as a duet, and I love that the episode shows them creating the choreo together. We're still not at the point in the series where the characters are allowed to sing on runway stages, so imagine how much better it would be if they were. 33. Summer Magic by Passion Jalapeno. Episode 141's Summer Magic is an incredible stage. It does overshadow the song for me, unfortunately, but this is such a creative performance that I can forgive that. Between the Tinkerbell Fairy, flying sequences, and detailed ship set, there's so much more going on here than we usually get in Aikatsu. 32. Angel Snow by Paopa Purin. Episode 148's version of Angel Snow is up here just for doing the impossible and finally getting Shion on stage. You can tell that they really didn't want to show her performing at any point, so we should all be grateful that this version exists. The animation upgrades are all great. I hope all of the summer Christmas celebrators enjoy this. 31. Blooming Blooming by Akari. Akari's version of Blooming Blooming is definitely my favorite, her vocals suit it better for me. I do wish her dress in episode 123 was the default for it. I like it more than the one in episodes 160 and 167. I also really love the visuals of the stage overall, maybe more than the song itself. 30, Move On Now by Lisa. Episode 174's cover of Move On Now is a fantastic improvement and a lovely tribute to the beginning of the series. It's super cool that it combines the stage from the Soleil cover with the glamour of Mizuki's original version. It's also a small miracle that they let Lisa out of Lucky Train for this. I wish they did the same for Nono. 29, Chica Chica by Juri. Also in episode 174 is Juri's Chica Chica solo. And with it, we are firmly in my top favorite performances. I love this chord and this choreo and this song, it all comes together beautifully for me. There are still improvements left to make, but I think Juri still pulls it off wonderfully on her own. 28, Do It by Akari. Regardless of my disinterest in this song, the episode 107 runway version of it is gorgeous. The combination of ballet-inspired choreo and the ripple effects on the floor are perfect. It's the best way I think they could have interpreted a Swan Lake concept in the context of an Aikatsu performance. 27, Melody of Heart by Akari. That said, episode 97's Melody of Heart is just a little more impactful for me. Not really because of the story behind it, but more because it's the first time I noticed that they were starting to find Akari's niche. I really enjoyed this song, and Akari's slightly more sentimental tone fits it really well. I would have liked to see her carry that sentimentality through her other performances more. 26, Wake Up My Music by Ichigo and Aoi. The episode 31 version of Wake Up My Music has a little bit of that sentimentality too. There's something really sweet about the legacy element of the performance. If I were Ringo, I'd be tearing up. This is the softer version of admiration that I always enjoy seeing in Aikatsu. 25, Start Dash Sensation by Akari. Both the episode 170 and 171 versions of Start Dash Sensation maintain a little bit of that Melody of Heart sentimentality I was talking about. I could have used a bit more of it here, but the performance is still impactful. I particularly like the stage and the dress personally. They contribute to a really pretty atmosphere. 24, Take Me Higher by Ran, Mizuki, and Kaide. The episode 36 version of Take Me Higher is the only one with Ran and the first one on the giant stadium stage. I love how huge the scale is, even with the outdated graphics it still feels impressive. I think this version might have the best cinematography too. There are a ton of cool shots. 23, Wake Up My Music by Masquerade. Both the episode 47 and 48 versions of Wake Up My Music are gorgeous, but the backlit silhouette intro of episode 47's is magical. I love how they balance the mature elegance with the youthful tone of the song. They feel like real, timeless idols. I love all the story context that adds to the reverent tone. 22, Calendar Girl by Key. I vividly remember how obsessed I was with episode 55's Calendar Girl when I first saw it. That's where my love for Key started, and I still adore her and this dress. She sounds great, she looks great, and I'm really glad they gave her a throwback song like this. It's my favorite performance of hers by far. 21, Dance in the Rain by Ichigo. I haven't been super kind to episode 64's Dance in the Rain, but it is very cute and I do love it a lot. For what it lacks in complexity, it makes up for in pure charm. The Angely Bear backup dancers are incredibly silly, and they're perfectly in character for Ichigo. This is also one of my favorite dresses in the OG series, so that's a plus. 20, Precious by Mizuki. Episode 75's Precious is a gorgeous song on a gorgeous stage with gorgeous lighting. I do find the dress ugly, so it's definitely being dragged down a bit, but Mizuki looks absolutely radiant here, like a proper moon goddess, so I can overlook the outfit for the most part. 19, Shining Line by Ichigo, Aoi, Ran, Otome, Yurika, Sakura, Kaide, and Akari. The movie version of Shining Line benefits a lot from the extra production budget. The animation feels more detailed and polished overall, and in a way this is an extended version of episode 101's cover. The cinematic cameras and longer runtime make it feel extra impactful to me. 18, Idol Activity by the full cast. The magical Aikatsu card movie cover of Idol Activity is basically the same thing on even bigger scale. It really reminds me of the Aikatsu on Parade version. With so many harmonies, the glowy lighting, and an ethereal setting, it feels like Aikatsu heaven. Even Shion is there. It's also very funny that Hineki got shoved between Mizuki and Mikuru. 17. Kirapata Shining by Sora. Episode 61's version of Kirapata Shining is Sora's solo, and it has more charisma than almost any other performance. This is where we get singing on runway stages. The trippy effects are a bold choice for the series, and I think they pay off if you're not too caught off guard by them. 16. Kirapata Shining by Ron and Sora. The only way to improve Kirapata Shining is to add Ron, which they do in episode 67. The two of them have great chemistry, and Ron's dress looks more suited to this stage than her own solo song. I love how creative they get with some of these shots. They do a ton with very limited resources. 15. Signalized by Ichigo and Mizuki. The only way episode 17 Signalized could be higher if there was some kind of bias in my decision making, and unfortunately I'm obsessed with the drama of the story surrounding this scene. Not only do I get more Ichigo-Mizuki duo appeals, I also get complicated emotional entanglements, which is a best case scenario for me. 14. Signalized by Tristar and Palpapurian. Admittedly, Starway to the Future's cover of Signalized blows the last one out of the water. We get updated graphics, a Tristar Palpuri collab, and Shion. I imagine Otome and Mizuki as having the exact same unrelenting willpower, so it's fun to imagine them working together on this performance. 13. Moonlight Destiny by Ichigo and Mizuki. Episode 50's Moonlight Destiny has to be higher though because it's an Ichigo-Mizuki love song duet, and very few things in this world could make me happier. It's also technically the reveal of Mizuki's premium dress, and a very important story moment, but I'm mostly focused on the love song duet part. 12. Hiyari Hitori Kiari by Star Anis. The Hiyari Hitori Kiari versions in episode 41, 42, and 45 are all pretty epic despite the graphical limitations. This is the performance that represents the best of season 1's story arcs to me, so I always enjoy seeing those all reach a satisfying conclusion. Plus it has cool glowy effects in the intro, and Ichigo and Mizuki dancing together. 11. Chica Chica by Passion Jalapeno. Episode 137's Chica Chica is the Hineki Jury duet version, and although the outfits are a downgrade, the choreo gets a big boost. I absolutely love how dynamic it is with both characters interacting with the sword props. Passion Jalapeno had the best stages of the whole Akari generation. 10. Light Pink Day Tripper by Miyabi. The episode 118 and 119 versions of Light Pink Day Tripper are Miyabi's solo version, which is an incredibly polished sequence I've already praised in several videos. The traditional Japanese concept continues to be very unique for Aikatsu, and it's executed to an incredibly high standard. 9. Take Me Higher by Tristar. We finally get the full stage scale and final member lineup for Take Me Higher in episode 150, which is a pretty long wait. As much critique as I could throw at the choreo, it always successfully impresses me regardless. This performance is also a great story milestone for all three characters, so I have some extra sentimental reasons for putting it up here. 8. Light Pink Day Tripper by Sakura and Miyabi. The episode 121 version of Light Pink Day Tripper maintains everything I love about the solo version and adds extra layers with Sakura's inclusion. I'm so glad they decided to do this since it's a perfect fit for her character and a super unique opportunity from a creative standpoint. Again, I have nothing but praise for it. 7. Eternally Flickering Flame by Eureka. Episode 89's Eternally Flickering Flame is one of the most popular sequences in the entire franchise, and for a good reason. The song feels epic, the vocals are beautiful, and the visuals are stripped down to the most dramatic, iconic elements. It's so fitting that this is the performance that coincides with Eureka's huge comeback in the anime. 6. Chica Chica by Vanilla Chili Pepper. Episode 149's Chica Chica is the gorgeous evolution I never would have dreamed to ask for. These are the most beautiful unit outfits on a gorgeous stage with outstanding choreo and cinematography, and it all goes to such underserved characters in the narrative. I wouldn't have it any other way. 5. Sweet Spice by Twings. Both the episode 82 and 94 versions of Sweet Spice manage to hype me up every time I watch them. Yes, the lighting is great, and so is the cinematography, and the stage is very fun, but overall it's the chemistry between Twings that I'm most excited by. I would have loved to see them performing this in their unit dresses in the Twinkle Star Cup. It could have been so much more exciting. 4. Precious by Double M. As it stands though, episode 99's version of Precious is my personal Twinkle Star Cup winner. The romantic tone suits this story moment extremely well, and everything from song to stage to dresses to choreo is absolutely beautiful. I don't even want them to stay together and I'm emotional. 3. My Starway by Soleil. Starway to the Future's My Starway makes me even more emotional. It's almost unfair how well it plays on my nostalgia and my love for this entire franchise. And God forbid I pay attention to the lyrics. In my heart, I can see Soleil covering this song again years in the future once they've all reunited for a comeback tour. 2. Diamond Happy by Soleil. As I've said many times, Diamond Happy is a life-changing song for me, and the only Aikatsu song I can sing along to. My favorite version is episode 151's with the upgraded unit dresses, then episode 87 with Ichigo's choreo mistake friendship moment, then episode 37's, 46's, and 39's as the basic version. And then last is episode 38's because it's on a more boring stage and it's also shortened. 1. Etude of Radiance by Ichigo. As I've also said many times, Etude of Radiance is my all-time favorite anime scene of any franchise. It always gives me goosebumps, I adore the story surrounding it, and it is, most importantly, a love song Ichigo has commissioned specifically for Misaki. The visuals are also gorgeous, and I'm extremely sad that I can't afford the figure of the scene that Bandai is releasing this year. Let me know your favorite Aikatsu performances in the comments below, and look out for my Dance Fusion Photokatsu ranking in a couple of weeks. Bye bye!
Say Johnny.